Welcome to Property Revival Realty. I'm Brian Lawton here with you live, and we're going to talk today about becoming a real estate agent. And right now, in a good economy, a good real estate market, we get asked a lot, and a lot of real estate brokers do, about what it's like to be a real estate agent. How does somebody become a real estate agent? And sort of that process and all that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Kind of go through several areas from a day in the life of a real estate agent, how to get licensed, how to choose a brokerage, kind of those action steps to find out really kind of two things. If being a real estate agent is really for you, right? If it's something that you're sort of interested in, you watch the television shows, you watch HGTV, you watch the renovation shows, that kind of thing, and you get inspired about the house flipping, and you see real estate agents on TV showing people around, or maybe you've gone through the home buying process or home selling process, and the agent that you worked with inspired you in the way that they not only treated you but walked you through the process and helped you through that process. So maybe you have an interest, and so part of the job today is sort of to discover if being a real estate agent is actually for you. And if the answer is no, that's one thing, but if the answer is yes, then we'll walk through on some details about getting licensed and what that looks like and what you can expect about that and resources to use to go find it. And then after you're licensed, we'll talk a little bit about, what do you do then? You get licensed, you hang that license with a broker, and then what? Now what do you do in this new career path that you chose? So welcome to all of you. Property Revival Realty has an office in Janesville, Wisconsin and Madison, Wisconsin. So all of this information is coming to you from being licensed in Wisconsin from that perspective, and we'll go through it that way. And in Wisconsin, when you get a real estate license, it allows you to sell either residential or commercial real estate, buildings and that kind of thing. Most agents, when they get into the business, sell houses. They help people buy houses, help people sell houses. And vacant land and all kinds of other interesting things happen in real estate. But before we get too far in, I want to talk just about what a real estate agent does. And there's really three types of people, three types of clients that we work with as real estate agents. And there's all sorts of niches in this, but basic three are: you work with in the commercial arena. And while you can do both residential and commercial real estate with your Wisconsin license, usually people pick either the residential track or a commercial track. And so if you have an interest in that in the commercial side of things, and by the way, you can always do both, but that probably requires a lot of years of experience to balance both, create a network in both, and that kind of thing. But working with a commercial client means that you're out recruiting businesses to your community, which is exciting. You get to be part of your community's growth, bring new business owners to your community, work with them to find the right space, whether it's office space, retail space, maybe it's a new restaurant coming to town. And you work with them either to buy that property or to help them secure a lease for that building. And that's a really exciting space in real estate. The other side is residential, which is, as I said a few minutes ago, what most of us do, which is deal with houses, basically, or vacant land, buying a lot to build a house. But you're either working on one or the other side of that transaction. One side of that is you're helping buyers, and most people, when they get into the business, are going to be working with buyers, and a lot of them initially. And you work with buyers typically when a buyer isn't working, and they're likely working during the normal kind of 9 to 5 sort of thing, and that means you're probably working with them outside of that time frame. So you're working a lot of nights and probably weekends with your buyer clients, not only showing them houses, maybe the 6, 8, or 10 houses that they want to go see, but you're also constantly searching, not just in our MLS, which is where real estate agents go to search for homes, or and a lot of the clients you work with know a lot more about the homes that are listed than even you do right now because of different websites that they study and get updates from. But you need to go find and help them find off-market properties or for sale by owners. There's a lot of different intricacies involved in working with home buyers, and you got to have a real passion if you want to become a real estate agent of working with with buyers in all price ranges. When you turn on the TV and watch a real estate agent, it's really fun to watch the gorgeous, beautiful houses in the great weather wherever they're filming these, some ocean views and all this stuff. Here in Wisconsin, we don't have that. You can still work with unbelievable people and work with unbelievable properties, but not all of your day is spent in, the highest level homes with the nicest finishes. It's all of the houses you see in your community. Those are the houses that you're going to be working in. So you want to make sure that you have an interest in that, working all price ranges with all sorts of people. And then, working with a buyer becomes kind of exciting. It's working with people and you're solving a problem for them. You're helping them, basically purchase the largest purchase of their life. And that takes a lot of care and takes a lot of concentration and a lot of details and a lot of behind the scenes work to do that. On the other side of that, if you become a real estate agent and you're interested in that, another person residentially that you'll be working with is a seller. So somebody that needs a sign in their yard, and you're going to list it in the MLS. So all the agents throughout the MLS here in South Central Wisconsin or the state of Wisconsin, and pushed out to hundreds of real estate websites, certainly nationally. But that's how you start to help them sell their house. But there's other things involved in that. You're going to educate that client on, how to get their home ready for sale. What are those things? How should it look from the curb? What ideas do you have for them to clean up their curb appeal or the clutter in their home or cleaning their home, getting the maintenance items, fixed or repaired, and really educating your client, again, back to helping that person get the best possible price for their home. And if your job doesn't end just when you put that sign in the yard, it really is just beginning. Then you got to go out, and it's not just about internet and web and social media, but working your network to let as many people know as possible that you have this house for sale, and you're working your hardest around the clock to let other people know and find that buyer, secure that buyer. So you got to be interested in doing that if you want to become an agent. Commercial, maybe that's your thing, buyers and sellers. And the third type of person that you're going to be working with is maybe a real estate investor. And personally, this is what I enjoy doing. You're meeting people that want to invest in your community in a variety of ways. Maybe it's that they want to flip houses. And so you're locating foreclosures and auction properties, distressed properties, undervalued properties in your community, so that this real estate investor, this flipper, can not only make money, which is why they're investing in that community, but really what they're doing is they're adding value back to your community. And that's what's exciting to me personally, is that it's an opportunity to improve the neighborhoods that you live and work in. And working with investors, responsible investors, is exciting that way, to help them find those properties, help them work through the process of securing the property at the right price so they can still make money, but responsibly renovate that home. Or maybe it's a real estate investor that is, just looking to purchase buy and hold investments. So they buy the home, they might renovate it a little bit, and they put tenants in there, and they have a real estate investment that way. Or they're building spec homes, so you want to help them find the right piece of property to build a home on and connect them with a builder if they need that. So there's a lot of different areas in real estate investment that are interesting and exciting, but that's got to be for you. So those are really the types of clients that you're going to have if you become an agent. So then what does that day look like? How do you fill your day as a real estate agent? It's kind of the next question that I think, if you're thinking about becoming an agent, is really important to consider. Because oftentimes, and I don't care what it is, what career path you've chosen, if somebody is successful at it and you're looking into that bubble, you're looking down into that arena, sometimes it can look easy, right? So they're successful at what they do. In real estate, they're exciting to be around. They know a lot of people in the community. They know a lot of things that are happening in the community. But all of that takes a lot of hard work. So that gets back to, what do you do during the day as an agent? And you got to make sure you're ready for that. And really, most of your day should be spent lead generating. And what that means is finding clients. Nobody is going to find out that you got your real estate license and is going to just give you clients to work with. It doesn't work like that. You have to go out and find them, and you do that in a lot of different ways. But your day is going to be spent, in my opinion, 3 to 4 hours at least every day generating leads. That can be, sending letters to your network, the people that you know, your family and friends and acquaintances that would care to know that you're a real estate agent and would probably use you just because they know you. Or maybe it's setting up regular coffee appointments to just network and meet people in the community. Maybe it's putting together a referral group that you're meeting with, people that are mortgage lenders, bankers, finance people, other people that need leads that you can generate together and work together that way. So that's really important as an agent, that you know that it's not easy to secure leads, secure clients, and that a lot of your day is going to be spent doing that. And if it's not spent doing that, you're not going to make any money. And so this wouldn't be for you. The other part of your day, I think, can be broken up 2 ways. And one of those ways is to just learn about your market. So the best agents understand all of the things, all of the factors that are coming to their market and they're happening around them. Such as, new businesses moving to town. How many employees is that bringing? Are those employees earning enough that they're going to be home buyers? Do they need rentals instead? Are they going to, be leasing property instead? So that's one factor. Also studying data in your market. How many homes are for sale? How much do they cost? What does a typical 3-bed, ranch cost on the east side of town versus the west side or south side? Or, all of those amenities that lead into that and all that data. So lead generating 3 or 4 hours a day, studying the market for sure, without a doubt, part of your day. And the last part of your day is just being in front of people. I think the danger I see with new agents especially is that they get a little nervous about being in front of people. And really this is a relationship business. You gotta like being in front of people, you gotta like talking to people, you gotta like learning about your market, but really being in front of people. You're likely not going to get a lot of new clients outside of your friends and family by sitting in the office or sitting at home in your home office. So you got to just get out and be in front. Go to activities, volunteer somewhere, go meet with a city manager, go meet with leaders in your community or friends, be in coffee shops, be out and about, at chamber events, and all of those things that give you opportunity to just engage with people and share your personality with them. They know what you're like, you get to know them, you can nurture relationships. So those are the 3 things I think that kind of as a general outline you could expect in your day. So if you rewind now, we talked about the type of clients, we talked about what your day might look like as an agent. So if those things interest you, kind of that next step then is, how do you take action? What do you do if, that sounds pretty good still. Like I kind of knew that was what it was about. I didn't really know what it was about, but those types of clients, that type of day-to-day, I'm still interested in that. So the next thing is you have to take action to this. So how do you become licensed? And in Wisconsin, you're going to go to a website called WRA.org, which is Wisconsin Realtors Association. And they have a link on there for education and pre-licensing. And what you're doing is that you're in a pre-license process. The state has to grant you a license so that you can sell real estate. And so by going to WRA.org, you can go on and you can take the class in a few different formats, just online, or you can take it on demand, which personally is best for me and probably best for most people, which means you can pause it in your life moments that you need to pause and walk away from that education. It's a 72-hour course, basically, and you go through different modules, different chapters of learning the vocabulary of being a real estate agent, the contractual issues about becoming a real estate agent, the ethics in our industry about how to deal with people and how to be ethical, running your business and operating your license. And you go through that and you take little quizzes after each chapter. And I think at the end, when you're done with all of the chapters, you can, for like $25, you can purchase a review test, which is valuable. And really that whole process of pre-licensing, taking the test, they give you up to a year to complete. But if you really got to it, you could get it done in 2 weeks if you wanted to. It just depends on your motivation and your, what's going on in life, I guess. But so go to WRA.org if that is something you're interested in, learning how to become a licensed real estate agent. And then once you go through the process of the pre-license course, you took the test, you passed the test. If you didn't pass the test, you can always retake the test. So it's not a one and done scenario. So then you take the test and then you have to get licensed with the state. And you do that at another website, at the Department of Safety and Professional Services, so DSPS. And I think that's on the bottom of the screen for you as a reference. And you take your, hey, I passed the test and that information, and you go and you can get licensed. And so that doesn't mean you can sell real estate. So now you have to take that license and you have to hang that license. You have to be kind of accepted by a broker somewhere. So you're going to go to companies and figure out where you want to work. Where do you want to be an agent? And that's a very personal thing. Another mistake I see with people is that they just run to the first one they see, or the biggest one, or the closest one to them, or maybe their friend is at one. But choosing the right broker is a very personal thing. It gets back to your core principles, your personal values in life, in business, and do they align with the people there? So the recommendation here would be to go and sit with real estate brokers, sit with agents that work out of different offices that you might be interested in. I think in the last 2.5 years, we've met with hundreds of potential real estate agents. And you need to find out if it's a fit for you. Do you want a big, huge office with hundreds of agents in it? Do you want something smaller? What kind of support are you going to get? So you're onboarding as a new agent. You went through the licensing process. It taught you vocab and a bunch of words that you probably forgot, and it showed you contracts, and it talked about ethics. Do you know what that course doesn't do? It doesn't teach you how to become a successful real estate agent. It just licenses you. So the broker that you choose, the company you choose to work with, is super important. And you need to make sure they're providing you some sort of value. Do they have a mentoring program? That would be really important to know. What sort of onboarding process? What kind of support do they have? Are you able to call people in the company when you go through, learning how to get your first client, or getting your first deal, writing your first contract? Do those people pick up the phone when you call them? Can you come into the office? Can you get desk space? Do you have to pay for that desk space? Do you have to pay to make copies? Do you have to pay for, are there other expenses involved? And let's rewind just a minute. Basically, the cost in Wisconsin that I would say is a rough estimate, don't hold me to this, but to become an agent is going to cost you somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,100 just to get licensed. And that's going to include all your testing, all your course work. Then you have to join memberships. You have to join the WRA, the National Association of Realtors, your local MLS. And by the time you're done paying for all that, it's about $1,100. And then when you go to shop for a broker, so I'm saying, go meet with 3 or 4 or 5 of these brokers in your community and find out the personalities there. Find out the fees there too. Some brokers are going to charge you fees to work there, and that may be worth it. And other brokers are set up differently. They may not charge fees. So just find out what's good for you, and it really comes down to, what's in your heart. It's a people business. Make sure these are people you like. These are people you'd want to hang out with. These are people you sort of get the feeling that you trust, or that you've talked to other people in the community that are impressed by those people, or you like the work that they do. So, getting licensed and then choosing a broker is a very, very important step. So then you've gone through the licensing process. Congratulations, you passed your test. Congratulations, you found a broker that not only wants to work with you, but you want to work with them. And now what? And so now it gets down to knowing, is this a full-time thing or a part-time thing for you? And my recommendation always is to do this full-time. The way an agent gets paid, though, is 100% commission, which means if you're not selling something, you're not getting paid. And so this is the part, I think, in this presentation where most people that ask me, should I be a real estate agent? And I ask them, why do you want to become a real estate agent? The two things that most often come back to me are because I can choose my own hours. There's a freedom in that. There's an entrepreneurial sort of vision about that. There's an excitement about that. They can run their own business. They can be their own person, choose their own hours. And they have the opportunity to make unlimited amounts of income. So those are two things that come back. And this is where I would caution you, because really the average real estate agent probably makes a very, very low income, because the best agents are the ones you're looking at and comparing yourself to, that have done it for years, that have good routine, that have big networks, that have a lot of experience, that people know to call in your community when they want to sell a house or buy a house. You're starting over, part-time or full-time. I recommend full-time. That requires a leap that I'll get to in a minute. But make sure that you don't just glorify it in your head, that you can work 2, 3, 4 hours a day, take long lunches, take, all of those things, set up your schedule that way. Being great at anything, including being an agent, requires an enormous amount of work and a grind. And that's why it really requires full-time. There are successful part-time real estate agents, or maybe you're just bridging the gap until you can go full-time, learning the business, getting a few clients part-time while you have a full-time job. And then once you start earning enough income, growing your network, growing your knowledge base and confidence base, then you make that leap to full-time. And when you make that leap to full-time, when you have no guaranteed income, it's a real leap of faith. And when you ask top agents or top entrepreneurs, it doesn't matter the business they own, because when you come into real estate, you're running your business, which is our next topic that we'll talk about. But when they make that leap to relying 100% on yourself to go out of your house that day to sell something in order to earn money, that's a leap that they'll never forget, that we never forget. We remember the emotion of the leap to full-time. We remember the moment that you made the decision to leap to being a full-time entrepreneur. And it's a nervous thing. And so it's an important decision, right? Which is one reason I sort of say most people aren't cut out to be an agent unless it's a real passion for you. And so the success formula here on any entrepreneur, but being a real estate agent, on any goal is really easy. You got some big why that gets you out of bed, gets your 2 feet on the ground every morning. You set goals in your life. So if you're going to be a real estate agent, you're going to set a goal. I want to make this much money. I want to sell this many houses. Whatever those goals are, you have a goal. Then you create an action plan to get that goal. This is easy stuff. It's very, very, very basic. Here's the part that's not easy about success, is the next part. You have the big why, you have a goal, you have an action step. Now you have to take action. Now you have to grind. You have to do the daily things, the daily habits that are going to make you successful. And that success formula is the same no matter what you're doing, no matter what thing you do in life, a fitness goal, a career goal, it doesn't matter. That's all the same all the time. But the last part of that, the taking action part, is where we lose most people, because they get frustrated with failure, even though really success is just failing more than the next person, just trying things over and over, sticking with it. And so when most people ask me, should I be an agent, and I say no, and they're sort of taken back, it's because of that. Like, are you really willing to put full-time hours into it, to grind, to learn, to generate leads, all of those things? You really have to do kind of a gut check there. And the best agents are. Listen, the best agents make incredible incomes, have an incredible ability and freedom during their day. And that's really appealing to a lot of people. But it's going to get down to, is that in your belly? Can you, go full-time commission and make that leap into running your own business, which is the next topic here. And kind of our final topic. You have to remember that you're not really employed by a broker, that you are self-employed when you become a real estate agent in Wisconsin. And you need to treat that like you're running a business, and the best agents do that. So you need to be prepared for that. You need to talk to an accountant about what that means to your tax return, how you take money. You may want to, enlist the advice of an attorney. Those sorts of things, because you're setting up a business. But the most important thing, I think, keeping in mind that you're running a business as a real estate agent, is to know that you have to set a budget. If you were to open a retail store or a restaurant or a coffee house, I'm going to open a business, you would have a budget. You'd have money that you're bringing to that business for marketing, for supplies, for all of those things. When you become a real estate agent, you have to do the same thing. You're opening a business. You need money to market yourself intelligently, and the broker that you sign up with should be able to guide you on smart ways to market, because you can go broke really fast just throwing money at marketing. But having a budget for that, having money set aside for supplies and travel and all these conferences or whatever these things are, you need some money there. So it's important that you're running your business. You're going to want to talk to an accountant for sure, maybe an attorney to get set up, whatever that is, and then have a budget. Treat it like a business every day. Put hours into the business every day. Show up to work every day, because that's what this is, and just create that action. And so those are the things you got to consider when you want to become a real estate agent. Listen, I work for Property Revival Realty, which I love. That's the brokerage house for me in Janesville and Madison. That's not for everybody. I would be happy to talk to anybody about what it is to the journey of becoming an agent. How do you get licensed in our state? Or maybe you're not in our state and you just want to talk about what the day looks like or anything like that. Happy to reach out. You can hit me on LinkedIn. Is probably a good way to message me there. Reach out, connect with me on LinkedIn professionally. You can also send me an email, brian@propertyrevival.com, and would love to have a conversation about you becoming a real estate agent. I do want to thank Live Action Production for live streaming this content, and they can be found at liveactionproduction.com. It's a very exciting live streaming company. But if you're considering being an agent, probably the answer is no. But if you can get past that hurdle and really think about what it means to be an agent and kind of reflect back on the types of clients you're doing, what your day is going to look like, how do you create action in the business, what does success really look like in our business, like we talked about, and then treat it like a business, showing up to work, budgeting money. You could have great success as a real estate agent, and it's an exciting profession. It's an exciting time to be involved in it. We appreciate you listening today, and I hope you were able to take something away. Take care.